Folks, at 4:30 on a Friday, Ryan Poles has traded the number 1 draft pick to the Carolina Panthers. The Bears have moved from 1 to 9. This is not a drill, and we have the compensation for you. It's Parkins and Spiegel. Danny will be here in a matter of moments. It's Spiegs with you. It is number 1 for number 9, number 61 in this draft, a first-round pick next year in 2024, and a second-round pick in 2025, and wide receiver DJ Moore, 25 years old, just signed a 3-year deal this past March, a year ago, with Carolina. What an amazing haul for Ryan Poles. Let's discuss it. Danny Parkins, good afternoon, sir.
Wow. I can't, so many things going through my mind, Speaks.
Yep.
First of all, this is the earliest blockbuster NFL draft trade in modern league history. So Ryan Poles is convinced that patience is not a virtue. He's convinced of it. And obviously taking on DJ Moore's contract ahead of the upcoming free agent period has major salary cap ramifications in terms of this helps them get to the minimum spend floor that they need to. And we know that it's not a good free agent class for wide receivers. And make no mistake about it, DJ Moore is a number 1 wide receiver. He's just never had a great quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many things, and I'm looking forward to being able to talk about it with you over the next 90 minutes. My goodness. DJ Moore is a number 1. And he absolutely is. And now you can take that off the board in free agency, which maybe it was. I suspect you can take it off the board in the first round too, but we'll see. I feel like Ryan Poles has telegraphed this entire thing. Remember the day at the Combine, he was asked, might you make this trade before free agency? He said, that's a good question. It's possible because you might get players back. So we started looking at 3 techniques, started looking at edge rushers and possible wide receivers. And then him saying to Peter King about the 1 and the 2 that could be on the board. And also, look at last year. I know it was all late in the draft, but he turned, 6 picks into 11 picks with multiple trade downs. He might trade down again, Danny. He might go from 9 to 11 or 9 to 12 when it comes to the draft. When he actually gets there, we'll see what the field looks like at 9. But overall, for this haul, I feel really good about the haul. I know it's lower than we thought, but overall, it's a 2, not a 1, but it's DJ freaking Moore. It's a number 1 wideout.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? That's why you don't have multiple future firsts. And you have a future first and a future second because you also get DJ Moore. I would be surprised if they traded down again. It's possible. But I feel like you want to, he talked about adding blue players. This feels like the low-end range of where you could probably justify Tier 1 players, and this will help us refocus on the draft, whether it's, the second or maybe the third edge rusher or the top offensive tackle. I suppose this brings corner into play just based on what the draft boards are. So I think that this will change what we focus on position-wise with the number 9 overall pick. I'd be very surprised if Jackson Smith and Jigba or Quentin Johnston were in play, given that he gave up, the 32nd overall pick for Chase Claypool and now just in part of trading the number 1 pick landed DJ Moore. I think they're done with receiver in terms of premium assets for the time being.
I agree with you. One thing. I got to pat us on the back for the Poles position segments at 3 o'clock over the past couple weeks. We've been looking, and we will look more, but we've been looking at edge rushers beyond Will Anderson. We've been talking about exactly this, like who could they take at 9 that he would feel great about? And those are the conversations that we'll have. Just one thing on the double trade down, I'm saying he would only maybe consider it on the night of the draft. Now we can sit there at 9 and we'll see. Free agency will have happened, and by that time, maybe 4 quarterbacks would have gone before 9, and he will have locked in on something that he likes, and we'll see whatever happens. And if he doesn't, he doesn't. But that's going to be in play as an option again. I love with how many needs they have. I love this haul and the position they're in with some clarity before free agency.
312-644-6767. We're basically commercial free. We are commercial free for the next hour. So we can get all of your reaction as well as ours to this truly historic trade. I'm looking forward to someone putting it in the context of NFL trades in history, frankly, in terms of the number of things acquired for a singular asset. I mean, this is gonna rival Speaks. I mean, people are going to talk about this in the context of the Herschel Walker trade in terms of sheer volume of assets. I am surprised. I'm surprised he traded down this far this early, but he must look at it as I am checking off the biggest need for Justin Fields, getting him a number 1 receiver. After the combine, I am comfortable with being able to get a blue player at 9, going into next year with 2 firsts, 2 years from now with 2 seconds, and a significant move down in the second round this year. You know, the 61st pick is a far cry from where you were going to be at 32 overall.
Yeah.
But it's a gamble that no team was going to get more desperate than this between now and the draft, or that you wouldn't get more by doing incremental trade downs, you know, trading down to 4 and then trading down again. But my guess is DJ Moore was the catalyst. That's my guess. And, man, if you remember, not that it was the most original thing in the world, I talked about DJ Moore with you during the season.
Oh, absolutely, I remember, because he was on the first year, and you talked about him last year, too. You talked about him as one of those guys
he's
in
great.
that spot.
I'm not going to say he's one of my favorite players in the NFL, but I do think he's one of the most underappreciated players in the NFL, because if you go through and you just look at the quarterback production and the inconsistency that he's had, it's fairly crazy that he was able to put up 3 consecutive 1,100-plus yard seasons. You know, he's never had double-digit touchdowns. He's not the biggest receiver, but at 6 foot 210 and a great route runner with great speed, he should complement Claypool very well, and he should be a great mentor for Darnell Mooney. I mean, he's your clear number 1. And it's the type of guy that if Justin, you know, they're eliminating excuses for Justin Fields. And they're going to say, next year, you'll have DJ Moore, you'll have Claypool, you'll have Mooney, you'll have Kmet. I think number 9, we have to put tackle now as most likely.
Very high, very, very high. Well, I don't know.
We'll see what happens next week.
Yeah, we'll see what happens next week is right. Because as you know, and we were going to talk about today, Monday's really free agency. Like it's Tuesday midday officially, but Monday is official tampering, opening essentially on Monday, official allowable tampering. And Lord knows those conversations are probably going on this weekend. So he's got DJ Moore and knows that. And there's been a lot of buzz about Mike McGlinchey, a ton of buzz about Mike McGlinchey. If they get Mike McGlinchey to play right tackle and he's going to stick with Braxton Jones at left tackle, I still think it might be defense at 9.
Yeah, I mean, we have a ton of time, you know, to figure that out. And you're right. Like what happens at the beginning of next week will give us an even larger indication of what happens with the 9th pick. Free agency will, of course, inform the draft. But the thing that I will say that I love about the move is it doesn't slow play Justin Fields. Like, you needed to have an accelerator for him because it didn't look like Claypool was going to work. And if you were going to trade down into this draft and take a receiver in a year where most people seem to think it's a below average wide receiver class based on the new standards of top flight receivers coming out each and every year, I will be floored if a better wide receiver changes teams this offseason. Even if DeAndre Hopkins changes teams, even if Mike Evans changes teams, the thing that we talked about with those guys was their ages and their primes didn't really line up with Justin Fields.
Yeah.
DJ Moore and Justin Fields could legitimately be a QB1 wide receiver 1 pairing for the next 5 years. You know, you have DJ Moore's entire athletic prime.
Yeah,
Everyone made fun of me for saying that Darnell Mooney was going to be the guy who broke the Bears' career.
Are you declaring that DJ Moore is going to surpass Johnny Morris now? Is that where we are?
Yeah. It's such a low bar to just clear 5,000 yards with one team.
Moore.
Can he make his first catch as a Bear first? Is that
do
too
you
much
know
to
how
ask?
few yards DJ or 5,000 yards is in the modern NFL?
I know it's like
it's 3.5 seasons.
I know.
Like if DJ Moore is healthy for 3.5 years, he's your all-time leading receiver in Bears history.
You know, like, look, if people want to quibble with DJ Moore as a true bona fide number one, feel free, because he's not big enough, he's not classic, that stuff or whatever.
I disagree.
I disagree too, but like people can quibble if they want, and some will. But he is so damn good, and as you say, 25, and that he inherits a contract right now that's less than $17.5 million a year. A 3-year, $52.2 million deal.
That's a steal.
Brad Spielberger, the salary cap analyst over at Pro Football Focus, tweeted Ryan Poles masterclass, because getting DJ Moore at that contract thrown in, and a texter is saying, I'd rather have the number one in 2025. You got a number two in 2025 and DJ Moore. Like that's, I think you're absolutely right that this happens now because DJ Moore gets thrown in to the package, and maybe they came back from the 1 to the 2, and that's what he got. And I think it's an incredible haul. It's lower than I thought, but I think it's an incredible haul.
You mean lower than you thought in terms of the haul, or in terms of where they would trade down?
In terms of where they'd go. I thought they were going to go to 4 or 7 and leave themselves the option to go down again. But he must look at this as, if this is where I stay, that's a great haul, and I'm good. I still think he might consider trading down again, but that'll depend where they are on draft night. So it's lower into the first round than I thought he would go initially. But the haul is pretty damn great.
I mean, the haul, yeah, it's in order to trade down this far. We were talking about it. You had to get multiple future firsts, and they got 1 future first, 2 seconds, and DJ Moore.
Yeah.
So it's pretty damn good.
It's amazing.
And, now if Fields takes the leap, next year you have 2 firsts while he is still cheap to add to next year's team. Like, this upcoming Bears team is not going to be a contender in all likelihood this year. But if they take a jump towards respectability, and you have let's say, you could easily be, and this is weird, you could easily be the Lions. Like, you have a good season, you have an exciting season, you have a season where you take a big step forward, and then you go into next year's draft, and you have the 6th pick and the 18th pick, and you think that you're really ready to take a huge leap in 2 years, right? Because, like, let's say Carolina starts a rookie quarterback and has a rough year where they give you a top 10 pick next year, and you have your own first-round pick. But regardless, 2 first-round picks next year is massive value, whether you want to trade up and go get a super premium player, or if you hopefully really feel like you've got the foundation of a team in place, and all of a sudden, man, you're looking at it and you're saying, you got Justin Fields, you have DJ Moore, you have Jalen Johnson, you have Cole Kmet. All of a sudden, you're talking about a young core and a young nucleus of a team at a lot of premium positions. To add 2 first-round picks to it next year, Ryan Poles can be on his way to building something here.